Greetings and welcome to Village Connector TV. My name is Glenn Garnes and I'm your host, and I'm excited to have you join us for a very special episode of Village Connector TV, one where we're introducing another one of our shows. So I'm proud to present to you NittanySports Huddle TV. It's all about Penn State sports, and unlike a lot of sports shows, it's got a little bit of a unique flavor to it because we're going to also be talking about the lives and the athletes, not just what happened on the field or on the court, but the lives of the athletes as well. So I want to thank Blair Thomas and Quintus McDonald for being innovative enough to come up with this concept. And before we talk with you about Nittany Sports Huddle TV, I would like to have them tell you a little bit about their background. So why don't we start with Quintus? Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you became a Nittany Lion?
Wow, that's a long story. So for the sake of time, we're going to condense it tremendously. Penn State is nestled inside of a mountain range. The Nittany, it's in the valley of a mountain range. I was born in North Carolina, so I love the countryside. I love all of that stuff. Growing up in Montclair, New Jersey, we had the Glen. We had small places where you could actually go out and get a part of nature, be a part of nature. Penn State had that, and it was close to home. And the two schools that were my final two choices were University of Southern California, not very many trees, and Penn State. So amongst other things, that the countryside and the opportunity to have nature be right there was very appealing to me.
And there was something else I think that was probably a factor for you that can be expressed in two words. It was full scholarship.
Absolutely. I can express that in one word. Absolutely.
I'm sure that didn't hurt. Am I right?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate to play football at a school in a town like Montclair High, where the spotlight had been on that school. We have such a rich tradition of superb athletes, guys who came before me, so there was already a spotlight on Montclair High. You have Johnny Cummings going to Pitt. You got Darryl Giles, who went to Penn State. Brandy Wells, who went to the University of Notre Dame. So these were my predecessors.
Don't forget Aubrey Lewis.
Well, going beyond, back into the 50s, you have Aubrey Lewis, who was an All-American in track and football at the University of Notre Dame. So and did every other thing that you can imagine as a man beyond his years at Notre Dame. So, the rich tradition had the spotlight on Montclair high school football. And I certainly played at a level that I was able to leverage what was already there to propel me to getting a full scholarship.
Well, you're being a little bit modest here, which is unusual, but you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything to hurt that legacy either. I mean, you were a top linebacker recruit, one of the top recruits in the country. In fact, I think you were the top recruit in the country. You were actually one of the prime catches the year that you graduated in terms of being, a top recruit. So why don't you just say it? Because you're thinking it.
Well, you know what? I was blessed with so much athletic ability. That's really what that was about. And they put me as Defensive Player of the Year, but I was really recruited as an athlete. When you are all something in three different sports, I was all state in track as well my senior year. I was all conference in basketball my junior and senior year. And being all state 3 times in football never hurt. So certainly, many people wanted an opportunity to have me at their school. I mean, I had hundreds upon hundreds of offers of full scholarship. So, I've learned to be humble because I know that God gave me the talent. I had that gift, and I loved to play. So I was always training, and it wasn't training for me. It was just doing a sport and trying to be the very best at it that I could be.
And I want to say the reason that I'm bringing this out is because I knew you wouldn't, because you are a person of humility. But I also wanted people to understand that you and Blair are now giving back to the Penn State community by bringing them this very unique and very special show. because you all could go out and do anything. You got to sign autographs and just be out about the money. But you found a way, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, to bring athletes and fans together in a very unique way that you don't get on the typical sports show.
That's right.
So I'm just really happy that you decided to move forward with this idea. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Let's talk a little bit about this guy over here, because he has some street cred too. So
mine was a little different than his. I only had one scholarship.
Well, you tell me a little bit about that one scholarship.
No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I grew up in Philadelphia, and back in the mid-'80s, it wasn't too many guys coming out of the Philadelphia area or major colleges going into Philly trying to get players to come out of the inner city. So I was fortunate to come up to Penn State to a football camp for 2 years in a row, my junior and senior year, going into my senior year. And I kind of felt comfortable with Penn State, and that's one of the reasons why I chose Penn State, because I wasn't going far from mom. A city boy, So I was going to, stay close, but I was recruited by a lot of kids in schools, and I kind of narrowed it down to the 5 visits that I took was to Syracuse, Pitt, Penn State, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't, like I said, wasn't going too far, so I wanted to make sure that I stayed within this region, but I wasn't the top running back coming out of the, in the country, because I went to Penn State with 4 other running backs that was also All-Americans as well. So I knew that it was going to be a battle from the start. So I went in there with the right mindset that, I was going to be in control of my own destiny. Wound up playing in a state all-star game and only got 1 carry when the other backs that was in the game was getting all the carries and everything, shining. Wow. And I didn't get a chance to do my thing. So I went to camp in the fall with a chip on my shoulder that, I was going there for a reason.
Now let's be clear about something now. You were on the team with 4 other All-American running backs that came to Penn State, and you were kind of feeling like low man on the totem pole, and you said and you were in the battle. But let's be clear, you won the battle. Let's fast forward to the end of that story, because you ended up being the most valuable player in the. Was it the Sugar Bowl that year that you all won the national championship?
No. That was the Holiday Bowl. My senior year was.
But that was that ended up being for the national championship, though, right?
No, that was our sophomore year.
Oh my goodness, you were MVP your sophomore year.
No.
Tell me which.
When I first came up there, DJ Dozier, even though I came in with 4 other running backs, DJ Dozier was still ahead of us.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Because he came in as a true freshman and played, and we played the last 2 years with him. So I got a chance to play a lot as a true freshman, but DJ Dozier was a starter on that national championship team.
But weren't you the MVP of one of those bowls?
Afterwards, after we won the national championship,
Gotcha.
I was MVP of the Holiday Bowl.
The key, ladies and gentlemen, was that he was the MVP of one of the bowls that they went to.
Well, if that's the case, we got to go to MVP of the Senior Bowl.
There you go.
I played over in Japan at MVP of the Holiday Bowl.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, what I wanted you to understand is these guys have some credentials, and they're very humble about expressing that. So you got to kind of pull it out of them. They don't like to talk about themselves. They like talking about Penn State sports, which is why they're here. Yes. And one of the reasons why the TV show exists. So
yes.
You got anything else you want to say now that I opened the door a little bit?
No, that's it. We kind of got it. And as we go on and people continue to follow us, they'll get more and more of what we're doing.
Yeah, I think you all ought to have a segment in there. So here's something you didn't know about Blair and Quintus. So we'll work that into the mix as well.
Yes.
Now, tell me a little bit about how you came up with the concept for the show. Why was this important to you?
Well, it was important for me personally, because coming out of Montclair High School, I knew going into Penn State that another one of the reasons that I chose Penn State was because it was, along with Syracuse University, 2 of the top universities for communications, telecommunications as it was called, on the East Coast back in the mid-'80s. I knew I didn't want to go to Syracuse, and they actually had the #1 telecommunications program on the East Coast. Penn State had the #2 program. I had plans and goals of parlaying my Penn State playing career into an NFL career, and then into broadcasting as an announcer for football. Those were my goals. And coming back to Penn State, after my NFL career, another one of our teammates, a guy who was on the team actually for a single year, asked if I would be willing to create a radio show. And he had this concept, and I said, man, I think it's a great idea. I'm going to talk to Blair. And we talked to Blair. He agreed that it was a great idea. So it was an opportunity then to bring Penn State football to the people. That partnership or relationship did not progress as we thought that it may have, which wound up being a fantastic thing. And Blair and I came together and said, look, you know, what we have here is a great start. Let's move it to the next level. If we can do television, and then bring not just the athletics and Penn State football to people, but bring the athletes to the people so that they're humanized. Because in my walk in life, what I realize, and that does two things. It brings the people to the player and humanizes the player, but it also humanizes the player for himself and understand that all of these accolades and all of this love and fanfare is about what you do. It's not about who you are. And you want people to get to know who you are so that when what you do doesn't happen anymore, you're not lost.
Bingo. I love that, and that's one of the reasons why this was so important for Village Connector to get involved in, is that you're giving people an opportunity to see their value being beyond just some skill or some talent that they have on the field.
Absolutely.
You mentioned two things that were important there. One was that academics was a big factor, you know, and it wasn't just about going to the school that had the most prestigious football program.
Right.
It was about going to a school where you could pursue an academic endeavor that was important to you, and you saw enough vision beyond your career to know. And I noticed that neither one of you talked about your NFL experience. Credentials, folks, I'm telling you, these boys have some credentials. But the point is that, you know, you played with the Indianapolis Colts and the San Francisco 49ers, and you were with the Jets. Yes. And that's the quality of what we have here for you at Village Connector TV, is people that really had enough vision to create their circumstances rather than just being subject to them. And that's important. I mean, because you're going to inspire a lot of people. You're going to help a lot of athletes that are coming up now at Penn State football to be able to be comfortable in their own skin beyond their uniform.
Absolutely.
You know, because one day it's going to be time to put the uniform away, and then then you're going to have to be ready for what's next.
That's right.
So that's huge. So,
yeah.
So what do you now? This is not just about the TV show.
No.
You're building a community. So tell us about the NittanySports Huddle community, what your goal is.
Okay, after I got finished, after playing in the NFL, I coached at Temple University for 8 years, and then I started a sports and entertainment marketing company where I was helping guys get appearances. So as we kind of brought this whole radio, starting with there, now getting into the television aspect of it, we thought that this was to be a great opportunity for young players coming out of Penn State to also be educated on some of the pitfalls, and we can try to bridge that gap so we can help some young players through their transition, because everybody don't make it to the NFL, and there's a lot of guys that sometimes get lost and need some guidance. So by us having to experience so many different things, positive and negative, now we can help kind of streamline that and give them an opportunity to come on a show and actually, promote themselves. So, business owners, they may have an opportunity or opening for some of these young players, and now we're trying to make sure that we're, involved into the community, not just trying to go up there and just talk strictly Penn State football. We want to make sure that we're trying to reach out to so many people in so many ways.
So you're really making this show about helping the next generation of football players to benefit from your life experience as it relates to your academic pursuits, your sports careers, and ultimately your life experience.
Absolutely.
And that is absolutely fantastic. Again, very consistent with the mission here at Village Connector. As you know, our goal is to help people evolve individually and to participate in the evolution of humanity by working together with others. And so that's what we're doing here. We're working together. You all gave me the opportunity to help you get your message out there in a very heart-centered way, and I appreciate that. We're going to have some fun together.
Absolutely.
You know. Now, we also are going to have some fun because Penn State has a very reputable, very credible, very talented sports program on all levels. And this isn't just, even though you all played football, this isn't just about football. It's about
not.
Penn State sports, not Penn State football.
Absolutely.
So that's also something I thought was important because there's a lot of less heralded sports where there's some very talented athletes that do not get the notoriety that the revenue-generating sports get. So why don't you, we'll start with Quintus. Why don't you tell us a little bit about why that was important to the mission?
Well, it's very important to the mission because it goes back to what Blair was saying, wanting to give an opportunity for these athletes, specifically the athletes, to get in front of and essentially interview on the air with big business owners, men and women who are in a position in the corporate world to do some hiring, to make decisions on, who we want. And they are always looking for athletes. They're always looking for athletes, but they may be hard to reach. And then there may be athletes that they don't know have talents and skills that they're actually looking for, and they may see them with Blair and I someplace, or on NittanySports Huddle TV, and give them an idea, and they'll be able to reach out to them. And also, these business owners will be able to advertise and market what they're looking for on NittanySportsHuddle.com. And these athletes from the non-revenue generating sports will be able to come to NittanySportsHuddle.com and look and see what is out there for them once their college days are over and their playing careers have ended. Because let's face it, there's no professional lacrosse league for women's lacrosse. But there's, I guarantee you, some extremely talented women lacrosse players that are in marketing, that are in the business school of business, that are in the school of forensic science or what have you, that big business may not know about. So when we're talking about and cultivating the Nittany Sports Huddle, I don't care what sport it is, eventually or at some point during the game, they all come into a huddle. And there's all sorts of things going on inside that huddle that people want to know about, the fans want to know about. Big business that you see their banners up around the arena, they want to know what's going on in that huddle. Well, we want to bring them inside the huddle on a whole nother level. And that level is getting to know who these young men and young ladies are on a personal level inside the huddle.
Fantastic.
That's, if I can, that's
go
why
ahead.
we want to, it's not just football, and that's why we want to gather all these other sports, is because now if we can get a basketball host to host the basketball, still a part of Nittany Sports Huddle, those guys huddle as well. So everybody want to know, and most athletes are used to being in team environments so they can work well with other people, and that's what businesses want.
Absolutely.
Is people that's used to being in a organized, structured environment in which athletes, we get that all the time.
Well, when we sat down to talk about the concept for the show, one of the other things that was very striking to me in terms of what your goal was that you also wanted the general community and the fan base to to know the athletes on a much more personal level. Because we see you floating around on campus and you're in the classes, but we're kind of like still like a little bit distance.
Right.
You know,
Distance.
you kind of, you're kind of bigger than life to a lot of folks, and you really are bigger than life. but to
Well, he's a little smaller now.
well, that's right. That's right. But my point is that, I think that sometimes that makes you feel like you don't relate to some of the other folks. You'd like to get to know them better, but they don't look at you through the same lens that you see them. And you'd like to be seen through that lens, even though the celebrity and the notoriety is nice. At some point, it's nice for someone to just want to get to know you.
As a human being, and what, for me personally, the only thing that I was able to share with the other college students was a beer at the keg. That's and once they saw me drink a couple of beers, they stopped looking at me as number 92. I was just a regular guy, and I was striving to get to that point. And I want no one to ever have to walk the road that I walked to get to that point of being just Quintus McDonald, not number 92.
Right.
Not, not that guy that's out there doing what you love to see. Yeah, I love to do that, but I'm a human being as well. So that's my own little personal piece that I bring. That's my passion is to help no other athlete, be it boy or girl, young man or young lady, have to walk down that road that I walked down.
And truly, that's what makes this entire concept that you've put together unique, is that it's about humanizing the athletes and giving them a chance to, as I said, be comfortable in their own skin because they fit in beyond the uniform.
Right, because a lot of people have different interests besides football, but everything that's reported is strictly what they're doing on the field. So it's going to take some time to get the interviews, but we want to make sure that if somebody like hunting, fishing, bowling, golf, that we get a chance to communicate those things and
bring them out and do it.
Yes.
Yeah, let the fans see them.
Now, one
with
thing
the ride and reel.
One thing I want to do before I forget, because I'm getting old and I forget stuff. Let's get the web address up there. You mentioned NittanySportsHuddle.com. Let's get that up on the screen so that people know where they can go to get connected to you, because you've got the ability for them to visit the website at NittanySportsHuddle.com and to join the Nittany Sports Huddle fan club, to become part of the huddle. That's the whole premise, is that everybody, the fans, the athletes, everybody, the businesses, they're all part of the huddle, bringing everyone together. And that's what makes this whole concept unique. So let's get you to be part of the huddle, ladies and gentlemen. It's www.NittanySportsHuddle.com. Go to the website, and you can get on the mailing list, become part of the fan base there. And as I understand, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sharing information about when there's TV show episodes, where you're going to be, which tailgate parties you'll be at, and all that kind of stuff. So you definitely want to get connected. There's a great value to being connected. So get on the mailing list, join that community so that you don't miss any of this. You want to make sure you stay tied into the communications and everything. It's amazing how quickly we can miss opportunity by not taking action. Don't make this something to do later. Do it right now. Go to NittanySportsHuddle.com and get on that mailing list right away.
Absolutely.
Now tell us a little bit, let me go back to you. Tell us a little bit more about what else is going on. You've got the TV show, you've got the website, you got all kinds of stuff, so tell us about that.
Well, we've got a radio podcast that we've agreed to do that will be monthly up until the football season. I'll let Blair get into that, more into that. But you were talking about the things that are going on in State College. I want you all to understand that we're going to be all over the state of Pennsylvania. We'll be all over the state of Pennsylvania, looking at a clay shoot. The York County Alumni Association has a clay shoot. We're going to be out there with shotguns trying to shoot clay pigeons.
I'm not going to show up that day. I'll watch the video of that. I do not want to see you with a shotgun trying to hit anything. It's different when you were running around the football field hitting people. Right, I'm not with a shotgun.
Not with a shotgun,
and Blair's thinking it over here too.
Yeah, I saw the look on his face. He's like, because he wanted to do it.
I got to make sure I stay behind him.
Exactly.
But the idea is that we're going to be all over the state. We've got another sponsor, Valley Sporting and Outdoors. We're gonna help them with some promotions. So we'll be at Kish Creek for the trout fishing tournament, hopefully. We'll be looking forward to going and partnering with Williamsport Motors LLC, going up there to do a live remote. So we're going to be all over the place, and in order to find out where we're going to be in your neck of the woods, go to www.NittanySportsHuddle.com, and you'll be able to find us.
All right, and you said you were going to talk about the podcast. So.
Yes. We just agreed with a gentleman, a former player from Northwestern. They created a podcast, and what they're doing is going out to different universities, getting former players to broadcast about their university. And
fantastic.
Yes, it's outstanding. So Quintus and I, we're going to do a podcast. It's going to be a 30-minute podcast, as he said, once a month during the off season, and then once we get into season, it's going to be every week. So we're trying to really make sure we expand and let people know what we're doing, because everything we're doing is trying to give back to the community and help as many businesses and people in the community as we possibly can.
Fantastic. Well, I am so proud of both of you, and you know, like I said, it's all part of the Village Connector mission that we give voice to these types of programs so that people can experience an enriched life. And you all are making it happen, and it's really good to see that you're as enthusiastic about this as you are, because I'm telling you, there is nothing like touching lives of other people in a way that inspires them. You know that. I mean,
absolutely.
You know, Quintus and I grew up in the same hometown, and so we have similar family values, and I know he associates with people that have similar family values. So that's how Blair ended up becoming part of the family from my family and everything. And it's just wonderful to be able to support such a worthy project. And I'm glad that you gave us the opportunity to do that.
I tell you, I'm so excited about it because Penn State community has been through a lot of transition, of course, over the last 2 or 3 years. And when we go back up there, we can hear it from the businesses in that community how, you know, things have gotten tough for them with they don't have as many
Economically tough.
Yeah, the games weren't sold out for a couple years. Now it's back. So hopefully these businesses can pick back up, and we can go in there and help promote them a little bit more, and show people what Penn State is all about.
Right.
Well,
Strengthens
a thriving economic environment benefits the entire community.
Entire community.
And that's why it takes a village. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this program. So, hey folks, the smart ones out there will be at NittanySportsHuddle.com before we finish this show, which we're just about to do.
Okay.
But I want to thank you, Blair, and you, Quintus, for coming on board. And we're going to have some fun with this. Please enjoy this show. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity for you to get some deep insight beyond just the sport, but into the lives of the athletes. So on behalf of Quintus McDonald and Blair Thomas, I want to say thank you for watching this special episode of Village Connector TV. We'll look forward to seeing you in the huddle.
In the huddle.